Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Great Maine Bird Quest. Spring has sprung, the warblers are arriving, all sorts of other birds are arriving, and it's been a pretty productive couple of weeks. It's day 53 right now, and I'm up to 96 or 97 species. There's one photo I have. I'm not sure if I'm confident enough in my ability to identify the bird that's in there to count it yet, but at some point I'm going to make that decision. But yeah, like I said, it's been a fun couple of weeks. I've seen some new birds, gotten some better pictures of a lot of other ones. So let's take a look at some of the things that have happened. So that's wobbly. So the past couple weeks I've done a few trips down to the coast, and then I've also done a few kayaking trips to some local swamps and marshes, but of course, in true Murphy's Law fashion, every time I brought the whole video rig, I didn't see anything interesting. And then when I didn't bring everything, I saw some new birds. So there's not a whole ton of footage this week, but still some good stuff in there. So day 45 was the first trip I took for this video, and picked up a few new species. I got a chipping sparrow, a wild turkey, and a northern cardinal. I didn't really get great pictures of the cardinal, and the turkey was kind of in sort of brushy, not so great areas either. But I did get some decent ones of the chipping sparrow. Then later that day, I took a little trip up to a couple of ponds looking for ducks, and had a little bit of luck, so check it out. Hello everyone, and welcome to day 45, I think it is, of the Great Maine Bird Quest. It's been a super long day today. Hold on, I think there's some ducks swimming towards me. Yeah, they're not swimming towards me, they're kind of paralleling. But anyways, it's been a super long day today. I woke up for sunrise and caught a really nice sunrise. And then after that, I've just been kind of checking out a whole bunch of different birding spots. It's been sort of a mixed bag today. I've been doing a little bit of improving of my old pictures, and then I've also been getting a few new species, which is always exciting. One of the ones I'm watching right now is a ringneck duck. There's a group of them out on a pond here that I've been watching for the last 15-20 minutes or so, and they're actually the second group of ringneck ducks I've found today. The first group was when I was out doing a little kayak trip around a pond, and they were super skittish. I couldn't even get a close shot of them because anytime I would even look at them, they would just start swimming away. These weren't that close, but they were at least close enough for some slightly better pictures and some decent video with the video crop factor in there. I've also gotten some better pictures of a few of my other birds, like the brown creeper. Super excited about that. I also got a pretty good shot of a wood duck. Also happy about that one because both of those are some of those challenging birds that I seem to struggle with a lot. Found another flock, or a few flocks, of palm warblers and yellow-rumped warblers, so I got some different shots of a lot of them. And yeah, it's been a pretty productive day. Nothing super crazy, but still adding those species, so that's good. Just heard a barred owl. Super cool. It's way across the pond though, so I'm definitely not going to be able to see that one. So there's been a red-breasted merganser hanging out with these ringneck ducks, and it's kind of cool to watch them because the merganser keeps coming up to the mound where the ringneck ducks are on, and the ringneck ducks just chase it off, which is pretty interesting to watch. It's always interesting to watch those different interactions between species. They're not birds, but I think today's kind of been like the day of the snapping turtles. I've seen 2 of them so far. One of them just popped up in the water right next to me and seemed to give me a quick little stink eye before swimming off. And I saw another one just lounging on this rock or on a tree stump. I didn't even realize it was a turtle at first, and then I looked and it was just kind of draped over the top of it. So that was a pretty funny picture. I'll pop that one up now. Made me think of going to work on Mondays. The most challenging day so far has been day 46, I think it was, when I took a trip out to a big swamp to do some kayaking around. I'd been there before and seen great blue herons and some other cool birds, but this time was not quite the same. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to day 46, I think, of the Great Maine Bird Quest. It's been a very slow day today. I decided to do a little kayak trip out and see if there's anything hanging out in this bog here. But there's just been a whole bunch of chipping sparrows and not a whole lot else. I did find a couple American bitterns, but unfortunately, because it's so wet around here, I just haven't been able to stand up and see if I can find them. I just heard another bittern. Might wait a minute and see if it's close to the edge. That'd be awesome. Oh, I was so close to seeing it, I think. It sounded like it was just on the other side of some bushes. But unfortunately, there was no place for me to stand up, and I didn't want to push through because I got about 6 foot of kayak in front of me that I'm sure would have scared it off. So, that was frustrating. But that's what happens with these secretive birds. I'm just gonna have to keep trying and hope that eventually I can find one. I did get some pretty cool audio recordings though. They have, I think, one of the funkiest sounding calls I've heard in the bird world. I just call it the wonk chonk. So I will play that right now. Unfortunately, at least at this point, I don't have a picture to go with it. But I guess I will put up a video I got a couple years ago of a bittern doing the wonk chonk noise. So enjoy. And maybe, with any luck, I'll be able to add one from today. But it's not looking likely. But as challenging and frustrating as that was, doesn't quite compare to what day 50 had in store for me. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to day 50 of the Great Maine Bird Quest. I am up to 87 species, I believe. Today has been a pretty good day for the most part. I think only 2 new species, but I have been getting a lot of improved pictures of other species. And also, the warblers are starting to roll back through, so been picking up a couple of those, and like I've said in previous videos, I'm really looking forward to photographing all the warblers. So today, the new birds I've gotten are a blue-headed vireo and a black and white warbler. And I've also gotten some better pictures of an adult bald eagle, so I can replace the older not so good ones with these newer ones I'm getting today. So I've got the bald eagle, I've got some pretty decent shots of a winter wren. The only complaint I have about those is I wish it was looking more at the camera, but I just kind of sat down in a swamp where it was hunting, and eventually it hopped on a little mossy mound right in front of me, so that was pretty awesome. I've gotten some better pictures of yellow-rumped warblers, And also I've seen about 2,000 more palm warblers. Well, not quite, but that's what it feels like. They're kind of everywhere right now. And then, yeah, saw the black and white warblers in a nice mixed flock of the black and white warblers, yellow-rumped warblers, palm warblers, and of course, black-capped chickadees. I'm pretty sure black-capped chickadees are like the tour guides of the bird world, because I think I've seen them in every group of birds I've seen so far. I feel like they're showing the other birds all the good food sources or something like that. One not so good thing that's happened today, though, is this lens decided to start going a little crazy on me. At a very specific range of focal lengths, the autofocus just doesn't work. And of course, one of those focal length ranges is the very long end, like the most zoomed in part, where I do the vast majority of my bird photography. So I've had to zoom out and just make do with a little more wide-angle shots for a lot of the birds. But if anybody happens to have a Nikon 800mm lying around that they're not using, hook me up. And that brings us to day 51. And day 51, I just went out for what I thought was going to be a real quick kayaking trip just to check out an area. So I didn't bring my video rig or anything. And I ended up, of course, having a really productive day. I saw a bunch of new birds, got a bunch of good pictures of birds I'd already photographed, and just generally had a very enjoyable kayak trip. So the first bird I saw was a Wilson snipe, and I haven't seen one of those since I worked in Alaska back in 2008. So seeing that and hearing it do its mating display over my head was really cool and kind of brought me back to that. So I think that was definitely my favorite sighting of the day. So what Wilson snipes do for their mating display is they fly up in the air and they do this sort of dive, and they spread their tail out, and somehow, I don't know how it works, the combination of the dive and their tail feathers makes this really cool, they call it a winnowing sound. So I think I managed to get an audio recording of that. So let me play that right now for you. It's pretty cool to hear. This marsh also had a ton of red-winged blackbirds, so of course I was able to get some pretty decent shots of those. But I think one of the coolest moments was I looked over and an osprey had just dived on top of a muskrat lodge and grabbed a whole bunch of grasses and stuff to take back to its nest. So I got a pretty cool shot of an osprey flying away with a talon full of grass and mud and stuff. So that was a cool moment. I also got to see a whole bunch of swallows. Most of them were tree swallows, but there were a couple of barn swallows mixed in. So I got some alright pictures of those, especially considering my lens is half broken and I could only zoom out to 400mm. But it still managed to focus on the swallows, which is pretty impressive. I hear a black-throated green warbler somewhere in the trees above me, but they tend to be treetop birds a lot of the time, so gotta get lucky when they come down. Fingers crossed. One of the other really cool moments was kind of towards the end of my trip. I saw a bald eagle land in a tree, and then all of a sudden a northern harrier came up and started dive bombing it. And the eagle obviously was not a fan of that at all. So after a couple of dive bombs, they both flew off, and the eagle actually flew pretty close to me and allowed me to get a pretty cool shot. Unfortunately, the harriers just stayed far away, so I didn't really get a good shot of them, but it was still a really cool thing to see. Nature is cool. And then yesterday, I decided to take a quick little morning trip to yet another marsh. I've been spending a lot of time in marshes because it seems like that's where the highest concentrations of birds have been lately. But anyways, I went to this marsh and again, didn't bring the video camera because it was right next to a highway and super loud, so I wouldn't have been able to do any audio or anything. But I got 3 new species. I finally got a picture of an American bittern. However, it's probably one of the worst pictures I've gotten so far. The bittern flute was apparently hanging out right next to the trail and flew up when I walked by, and I managed to get a couple of shots of it as it flew away. So I don't really like bird butt shots, but especially since the Bittern's been giving me so much trouble, I'll take it for now. However, I'm gonna keep going back and looking for them because I really want to get a shot of one of them. And then I also saw what was the other thing I saw? A Warbling Vireo, and I got my first mourning dove picture. And it was cool getting the mourning dove picture because I didn't know they had a little patch of iridescence on the side of their neck, but turns out they do. So it's kind of cool what you find out when you get to really focus on these common birds that you see pretty much everywhere. Fun stuff. And now today, I'm just taking a little bit of a wander through the trail system around an Audubon sanctuary near my house. And not really expecting to see anything crazy, but you never know what might pop up, especially during migration and with these windy, stormy days. Maybe something cool. We'll see. Well, that is about it for this week's video. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of this week's birds and all the better pictures and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be starting a note card box set with some images, some bird images from the quest to help offset the repair costs for this lens. So I will put a link to my website in the description, so check that out if you would like to see what I have available. And of course, I can do custom note cards as well, so if there's any bird photos in particular that you like, get in touch with me and I can hook you up with a box set. So thank you again, and I will see you in the next video.